Good morning, everybody. Today we will start with a new topic that is one minute. There is some problem.
Puranas.
No. Okay. That is, of course, that is Puranas. So far we had Vedas, Vedangas, and Dharma Sutras. And after that we had Upanishads, Darshanams, and we had Panchangam. And lastly we had Bhagavad-Gita. Now we'll have Puranas from V.V. Rao garu. So let us start with Vande Mataram from Vasundharaji.
Can I start, Mahodaya?
Yeah, please start. Let us all stand up.
Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram. Sujalam. Suphalam. Malaya Jasitala. Sasya Syamalam. Mataram. Vande Mataram. Suprajyotsna Pulakitayamini Pullakusumita Drumadala Sobhini Suhasini Sumadhura Bhashini Sukhadam Varadam Mataram Vande Mataram Vande Mataram. Dhanyawadaha sarvebhyah.
Dhanyavadaha Mahodaya. Now let's have Prarthana.
Hari Om Janam. Ganana Antva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavina Upavasravastamam Jayastarajam Brahmanan Brahmanaspada Anasranvannotarisrida Sadanam Om Mahaganadipataye Namaha Prano Devi Saraswati Vaje Virvajinivati Dhinama Vatriyavatu Om Mahasaraswati Namaha Harihi Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrichorma Amritangamaya Om Shanti 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 Matrudevo Bhava Pitrudevo Bhava Acharya Devo Bhava Atithi Devo Bhava Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Hari Namaskara Sarvebhyah Swadikam.
Dhanyavadaha. Let us welcome V.V. Raju garu for this meeting today. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, sir.
Acha, now I request Lalita Garu to introduce B.B. Raju Garu to all of us. You have to unmute, Mahoday.
Yeah. Good morning to all the participants, to our guest speaker of the day, our president, vice president, and all the students. Today, it's a day of honor for all of us to have a versatile speaker with us. He's an orthopedician surgeon by profession, but staying in Hyderabad. But you know, he developed this inquisitiveness about Hinduism, about the Sanaatana Dharma from a decade ago. I can say from 2013 onwards. He's been doing a lot of research, and he wanted to know what exactly our Dharma scriptures meant to us. And then, you know, he has made a lot of study and research, and he's also had a lot of discussions with many such scholars and with atheists and all. You know, he was participating in many discussions and studying all the scriptures. You know, he has done a lot of research and studied Rig Veda and so many other books also. You know, he has authored also the books. And, you know, about the conversions, he was concerned about the conversions and the communist leftist thoughts and all, how they were trying to change our mindset about the conversions. All this, he's made a lot of studies and research, and he's also written many books. He has authored many books. And, you know, especially we can make a special mention of from 2019, he started writing the Telugu translation of Rig Veda. And he has made it 5 sets. And 2022 February, he has released it with 3,000 pages of Rig Veda, 5 sets. And also he has done some riddles on Christianity to stop the conversions and about Islam, what is happening. And also very recently, I think it's going to be released soon, he's authored a book on riddles on Hinduism also. And he has his authentication about the Puranas, our Vedas, scriptures, many scriptures. All this he's been doing. Is a very versatile personality, I can say, to promote Sanaatana Dharma. Being a doctor by profession, he has taken up this as his passion to promote Sanaatana Dharma. So it's a honor to all of us to welcome him on as our guest speaker on behalf of Veda Samskruti Samiti and our Sanaatana Dharma course participants. I welcome you, sir, and please take over the session, and you can deliver on Puranas today. A warm welcome to you from all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. And pranam to all my gurus, whom I have worshipped all my life, and all the inquisitive students who want to learn something about Puranas. So I will share a little file so that it will be easy for me to explain to you, and also so that you can easily understand. I started to have a little interest in studying about religions way back in 2013 during my discussion with some of my friends whether God exists or not. So I started going into all the literature and started studying all the literature. So then I came to know there is something terrific about Sanaatana Dharma. So I started studying almost all the scriptures. So already I think a lot of topics have been covered here. So I will talk about how itihasas and Puranas are to be understood. And talking about itihasas and Puranas, it is as difficult as Vedas to understand them. Because Puranas, almost there are 4 lakh slokas. And when we take Mahabharata, it is almost 1 lakh slokas. And Ramayana is about 24,000 slokas. So literally you have almost 5.5 lakh of slokas in Puranas and Itihasas. I am only speaking about the main Puranas here, not about Upapuranas. So it is very, very difficult to understand Puranas, provided you understand and study the essential Puranas. Essential Puranas means which are the basic Puranas which give how creation is taking place, what are the gods and goddesses who are being described in Sanaatana Dharma. So my bullet points in this lecture are 5 parts. The point 1 is, are Vedas authenticated scriptures of Sanaatana Dharma, and Itihasas and Puranas are not? But generally we talk about Vedas being the authenticated scriptures. Itihasas and Puranas are also authenticated, and I will quote some of the slokas in the Puranas. The next question which is commonly asked in Sanaatana Dharma is, why Vedas does not mention Vishnu, Krishna and other avatars? Does it mean Vedas contradict Puranas? No, they don't contradict Puranas. Am I audible, clear?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. So the third point which is commonly asked is, there are about 18 Puranas and Upapuranas, but each Purana speaks about the God. Like for example, Shiva says, I am the supreme God. In Vishnu Purana, Vishnu says, I am the supreme. In Devi Bhagavata, Devi says, I am supreme. So ultimately, who is the supreme God as per Puranas and Itihasas? So that is the third bullet point. And I will make a special mention about Puranas, especially Tamasika Puranas, because Puranas are divided into 3 types: Satvika, Rajasa and Tamasa Puranas. So how to understand them, how to study them. And the last point, which is very, very important, is, are there any contradiction in Puranas? So this is very, very important. So I will go to the first part. See, as I have said, Puranas, the Vedas does not mention anything about Puranas. So which to take as authenticated, whether to take Vedas or Itihasa Puranas. So we must be already knowing that there are 4 Vedas, and then each part has Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka and Upanishad. And of course, Bhagavad-Gita being the essence of all Vedantic philosophy. And of course, there are Jnana Kanda, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and all of them lead to Bhakti Kanda. So this is being specially taught about in Bhagavad-Gita by Bhagavan Krishna. And of course, we also know that each Vedic mantra has Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika and Adhyatmika meaning. Some scholars interpret a 4th type of meaning, which is a secret type of meaning which nobody knows. Each Veda mantra has basic 4 types of meanings. And of course, which is more authenticated, I will quote from Puranas of which is more authenticated. Now, speaking of Puranas, what is a Purana? See, Purana, according to Amarakosha and also Puranas, have 5 qualities. And there is a sloka about it. Sargascha, Patisargascha, Vamsho, Manavantranicha, Vamshanu Charitam, Kapi Puranam, Panchalakshanam. See, Purana has 5 qualities. It has Sarga, Pratisarga, Vamsha, Manavantara, and Vamshanu Charita. It means creation and procreation, cosmology. It also gives a history of who are the sages and the patriarchs. And Manavantara gives who were the different Manus and who were the different kings. So all these 5 characters are specially given for Purana. Now, when we come to Itihasa, now what are Itihasas? Itihasas are Ramayana and Mahabharata. We already know the names of main Puranas, and there are Upapuranas, and we also have Sthala Puranas, which talk about a particular character of each place in India and different parts of the world. Now, I especially request you, when you address Itihasa and Purana, you address them as Itihasa and Purana and don't call them as mythology. Because mythology is a word which is being taught to us by Britishers. Because myth means it's a created one. And myth is not an English word. It comes from mithya, which is again a Sanskrit word. So mithya says it is a created one. And no Purana or Itihasa is a created one. So I request all of you, don't use this term mythology for our literature. Call them as Purana or call them as Itihasa. Now, what does Itihasa mean? Itihasa means it does happen. So it happened like this. So nothing is mythical about Itihasa or Purana. So this is very, very important. We should never call our literature as mythology. Mythology is a term which is introduced by Britishers. We should not call this word. It doesn't fit our literature. Now I go to some of the references which our Puranas speak of. First, I am quoting Skanda Purana, which I am showing on screen, book number 7, chapter 2, and sloka 90-91. Here, the Rishi is saying, "O excellent Brahmana, I think Purana is steady like Veda." So here, this sloka is saying that Purana is as authenticated as Veda. All the Vedas are established in the Puranas. There is no doubt about it. This is meaning, it means that Vedas don't contradict Puranas. And the next sloka is even more interesting, which is 91 sloka. Here the sloka is saying that Veda is afraid of the men of insufficient knowledge of the lower and field. Oh, this man will move and dislodge me. If Veda, it means the Veda, has been rendered firm and steady formerly by means of all Itihasas. So literally, these two slokas are saying that whatever is being told in Vedas is not being contradicted by Puranas. So there is literally no contradiction. But of course, there is a rule that, that says that if there is something which is not there in Purana, and if Veda contradicts Purana, then we should take Veda as an authority. I will tell that later. Now, Skanda Purana, chapter 2, the other slokas, that is 92, 93, 94, what are they saying? So this is the English translation which I have taken from Motilal. What is not seen in Vedas, O Brahmana, and what is not seen in Smriti, and what is not seen in both is being sung by in Puranas. So what is not seen in Vedas and Smritis is being told in Purana. So again, this is not a contradiction. So, and the next sloka is even more interesting. A Brahmana who knows all the 4 Vedas along with Angas and Upanishad, and the one who doesn't know Purana is not learned. So this is a dramatic statement. If a person knows all the Veda and doesn't know Purana, the Purana says that that Brahmana is not a learned one. So a Brahmana should also know all the Puranas. That is the essence of this sloka. And again, who wrote all these 18 Puranas? There is no doubt about this. The Puranas are saying that Veda Vyasa has rendered all the 18 Puranas. And there is one more sloka which I will show you. Here, I am quoting Devi Bhagavatam, book 2, chapter 2, and sloka 43 and 44. Here, seeing the advent of Kali Yuga, he adored the tree of the Vedas with many shakas. See, the Veda doesn't talk about shakas. Probably, as I am aware of about Rig Veda, whether Veda talks about shakas or not, but the Puranas talk about shakas of the Veda. So during the advent of Kali Yuga, what Veda Vyasa has done is, he has divided Vedas into different shakas, and he has taught all these shakas to his disciples. this particular thing has been told in especially Bhagavata. So, and also this sloka is telling that Veda Vyasa has composed all the 18 Puranas. So, who is the author of Puranas? Veda Vyasa is the author of all Puranas. So, it is being told crystal clear that all 18 Puranas are being authored by Veda Vyasa. And each Purana is being told by somebody to somebody. So I am giving an example of Devi Bhagavata here, book 1, chapter 1, sloka 63. Here, Devi Bhagavata particularly has been told by the Devi, the Ammavaru, to directly Vishnu. So like this, Shiva Purana is being told by Shiva. Like this, each Purana is told by somebody to somebody. And here, I will make a special mention. They are being told. They are not being written. Because today, a huge controversy is being going on in Andhra and Telangana, especially with regard to me doing social activity. Most of these Christian pastors, they claim that Sanskrit doesn't have a lipi. Sanskrit doesn't need to have a lipi, because most of our scriptures are being told by one sage to other sage, or being told from one devata to other devata. So they are being propagated by Guru Shishya Parampara. And of course, how authenticated are Shrutis and Smrutis? So here I find an interesting sloka in Devi Bhagavata, book 11, chapter 1, sloka 21 to 22. Here Narayana is saying that Smruti and Shruti are the two eyes of the God. So Puranam is as authenticated as Veda. And here a particular term is being used. Puranam is his heart. So Purana is the heart of Narayana. That is what this sloka is saying. And again, regarding the authority, this is a very, very important sloka, which is 22 sloka in the same chapter. Here it is said, whatever is stated in the Shruti, Smruti and Puranas is Dharma. So Dharma is being told in Vedas, in Smrutis and in Puranas. And then again, this is very important. Where you find a difference between Shruti, Smruti and Purana, you have to take the word of Shruti. Shruti is again Veda as final proof. And where Smruti disagrees with Purana, then you have to take Smruti as authority. So of course we know all this. So again, we'll go forward. Now here again in Devi Bhagavata, book 11, chapter 1 and sloka 26. Here it's an important sloka. Whatever goes against a Veda can in no way be accepted as a proof. So what is against Veda? It is not proof. So ultimate authority is Veda. Next comes Smruti, then comes Purana. So Purana cannot be ruled out as to say that it is not an authority. It is an authority, but ultimate authority is Veda. So this is the introduction which I wanted to give about which scripture is the authority. And then of course, the next very, very important bullet point is why the avatars of Vishnu or other gods are missing in Vedas. So here, as far as my understanding about Sanaatana Dharma scriptures, see, Veda doesn't speak about the names of the gods. It speaks about the tattva of the Supreme. So what is the tattva of the Supreme? So Veda mantras talk about Devata. So what is this Devata? What is Indra? What is Agni? What is Marutu? These are the gods or Devata which the Vedas speak of. So the Veda is not speaking about the gods who have a form. So according to my understanding, when I say Indra, what is Indra? Indra is the mind of the Supreme God. Now what is Agni? Agni is the Divya Tejasu of the Supreme. So I compare the Devatas of the Vedas as the building blocks of, for example, I take a house. If I want to construct a house, I need mud and clay. Then I need bricks, I need sand, I need cement, I need wood. So these are the building materials for a house. So Vedas is speaking about Devatas. So all these Devatas are the forces of nature. They are not Devatas who are being described in Puranas or Itihasas. But Vedas does speak about gods. Sometimes we have mantras where the mantra says that Indra holds Vajrayuda in his hand. Now, Veda says that God doesn't have a form. But again, it speaks about form also. It speaks that Vajrayuda is being held by Indra in his hand. So Veda is also giving a hint that these Devatas who are being mentioned in Vedas does have a form. And then the Veda mantras also speak about Udara of Indra. So Indra takes Soma and his Udara. Udara is the stomach, we can say. It is being filled by Soma. Again, Soma is not a physical material. It is a material with which the entire universe is being built. And Soma is also a subatomic particle maybe, which gods take to get strength. And again, Veda also speaks about, it makes a word called Shipri. Shipri means that Indra has a beautiful chin and a beautiful face. So Veda never hesitates in saying indirectly that the Devatas who are being mentioned in Vedas, they do have a form. It secretly hints that the Devatas who are being mentioned in Vedas do have a form. So again, I will go into few of the mantras which are being mistranslated. Particularly, some organizations say that Natasya Pratima Asti. It means God doesn't have a form. Unfortunately, we have to realize, and some people have to realize, that Pratima doesn't always mean idol. Pratima doesn't mean idol. Pratima has at least 17 meanings in Sanskrit. It also means measure. So the mantra is saying that God doesn't have a measure. You cannot measure God. He is infinite. So God does have a form. And of course, a lot of people quote Yajurveda 40th Adhyaya, 8th mantra, saying that God doesn't have a body. He doesn't have veins. But again, this is a mistranslation. I don't want to go into detail of that. But Vedas do authenticate Puranas and Itihasas. There is no contradiction. Of course, I will go further. And then I will speak about Bhagavad-Gita a little, because according to me and according to all the Puranas, the Supreme God being described in Puranas is Lord Krishna. And I don't have hesitation to say this, because that is my understanding. But here, I do quote about some organizations. I am not criticizing them. We have an organization called ISKCON, who proposes that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. I agree with them. But they do degrade Lord Shiva. They do degrade Lord Shiva, saying that is a demigod. I don't accept this proposal. On the other hand, we have some organization with us, like Arya Samaj, who say that Veda is the supreme authority. I agree, but they say that Puranas and Itihasas have lot of interpolation and they cannot be accepted. But I disagree with them. So Puranas and Itihasas, there may be some interpolation, but I don't agree that majority of them are interpolations. There is no contradiction between Vedas and Puranas. Now I go into the third bullet point, which is who is the supreme God according to Puranas and Itihasas. So I said that Lord Krishna, Bhagavan Krishna is the supreme authority. He is the supreme being who is behind all the godly powers. So before I go into Itihasas and Puranas, I will quote some of the slokas from Bhagavad-Gita. Here, Bhagavad-Gita, Adhyaya 9 and 17th sloka, Lord Krishna is saying that I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandson. And he says, I am the Veda. And he is saying in 10th Adhyaya and 8th sloka that I am the source of all spiritual and material words. Everything emanates from me. So is Bhagavad Gita correct? Of course it is correct. I will quote from Puranas, important slokas to authenticate what is being told in Bhagavad Gita. And then again, Krishna is saying in 10th Adhyaya, 20th sloka, that I am the super soul, O Arjuna, seated in the heart of every living entity. And I am the beginning, middle, and the end of all being. So Krishna is very crystal clear in claiming that he is the supreme being. And he's also saying that I am unborn and beginningless. And of course, there are so many slokas in Bhagavad Gita which claim that he is the supreme being. And of course, I will go to Puranas, how Krishna is the supreme being. But before going to that, I have a very important sloka in Devi Bhagavatam, book 5, chapter 1 and sloka 5. Here, there is a incident where Lord Krishna is worshipping Parvati and Mahadeva, that is Shiva. So here, the Rishi is asking, it is very interesting. If Sri Krishna is the supreme being, why he is worshipping Parvati and Shiva? Does it mean that Lord Krishna is inferior to Mahadeva? See, this is what our Rishis are asking. So these doubts, even I did had, even the Rishi has this doubt. So that is why he is asking. But to that there is a reply. See, this is a special incident where Krishna is worshipping Parvati and Mahadeva to get sons, to get wives. But there is an interesting, another interesting sloka, which of course I have not given here. In Brahma Vaivarta Purana, Parvati and Shiva worships Krishna to have a son. No, here in Devi Bhagavata, Krishna is worshipping Parvati and Mahadeva to have wives. Whereas in Devi, in Brahma Vaivarta Purana, Parvati and Shiva are worshipping Krishna. So you will feel this is very interesting. One is worshipping the other person to have a son or wives. It is very interesting. But when you go into the depth, both are right. So here I will quote another sloka. Sorry. Here, who is Vasudeva? Who is Krishna? So here the sloka says, this is about Devi Bhagavata, book 5, chapter 1, sloka 20. Here, who is Krishna and who is Vasudeva? He is a part incarnate of Rishi Narayana. So this Rishi Narayana has come from the Narayana or Vishnu. Then, who is Shiva? Here it is a very, very important sloka which says who is Shiva. So Shiva is Devadi Deva, that is God of the gods. He is the Lord of all casual bodies. So in this respect, I will give a little introduction. I may deviate from the slide, but this is my understanding. I will give a little explanation of how universe is being created in Sanaatana Dharma. See, basically, there is something called Goloka. In Goloka, Lord Krishna is there. From him, Mula Prakriti will come out. Now, where is this sloka in Devi Bhagavata? So, I will show this sloka. I will go a little further. Okay. Yeah, I will do one thing. I will show that sloka later on. So Krishna will be there in Goloka, and Goloka is supposed to be the highest world according to us. And from Krishna, Mula Prakruti will come. This is the sloka which I am showing here. This is Devi Bhagavata, book 5, chapter 1, sloka 36. So according to this, from Krishna, Mula Prakruti will come. Then again, from Mula Prakruti, a lot of other Deva Shaktis will also come out. Now, from Krishna, Vasudeva and Vishnu will also come. From Krishna, Shiva will also come. I will show that slokas. So, when Krishna and Mula Prakruti, they do Rasalila, you will get a Brahmanda, a egg, which is very big. And from this egg, the entire universe is created. So, when somebody asks you, what is the concept of Sanaatana Dharma as regard to creation? So, we see that today science proposes what is called as Big Bang theory. But Sanaatana Dharma not only talks about Big Bang theory, it talks about multiverse. You must be knowing what is multiverse. Multiverse means there are crores of universes in the entire cosmos which are born, then they come out, then ultimately they get destroyed. This is what multiverse theory talks about. Sanaatana Dharma proposes multiverse theory. It talks about parallel universe also. So I was like shocked when I read first time that Sanaatana Dharma, it is talking about multiverse. It means there are billions of universes out there. In each universe, there is Devi, there is Sadasiva, there is Maheshwara, then there is Vishnu, Brahma and Rudra. And in each universe, there are a lot of other devas who are working under this hierarchy system. So, when you talk about who is being in charge of each universe, it says that Mula Prakruti is the in charge of each universe. That is Adi Shakti. The Mula Prakruti is the in charge of every universe. So I will show those slokas now. Yeah. So this is a sloka which talks about hierarchy system. So this is Devi Bhagavata, book 5, chapter 1, sloka 24. In all the Shastras, therefore, the superiority of the Devi is established. So in each universe, Devi, that is the Ammavaru, the Mula Prakruti, she is the superior being. Then from Devi comes Sadasiva. From Sadasiva comes Maheshwara. From Maheshwara comes Vishnu. So this sloka is talking about Vishnu being superior to Brahma. From Brahma, Rudra also born. Again, in Vishnu, when I speak about Shiva, don't think that Shiva is only one character. The Shiva has different tattvas. First we have Sadasiva, then we have Maheshwara, then we have Rudra. All these three are the characteristics of Sadashiva, that is Shiva tattvas. So I will go further a little bit. Now, here is a sloka. Here is a sloka which is Shloka 36 in the same chapter. It says, from Mula Prakriti are born Brahma, Vishnu and Hara. And from the Tamasika Ahankara of Prakriti, the entire cosmos is created. Then I will go further a little bit. I have a very, very important concept in Devi Bhagavata. I said that there are billions of universes according to Sanaatana Dharma, and there is also parallel universe in Sanaatana Dharma. So I will give a very, very interesting evidence in Devi Bhagavata, book 3 and chapter 2. Here we find a very, very interesting incident where Brahma, Vishnu and Rudra are being created. These three people are being created. whom we generally call as Trimurti. So all these three people are created, but they don't know how to make a creation. So what Brahma, Vishnu and Rudra do is they will pray to Devi. They will do worship to Devi, and then Devi, she makes her appearance. When she makes her appearance, all these three Trimurtis, they pray to Devi. Here is the sloka which says, "O mother, there is no wide earth here, and there is an infinite ocean." Again, when I say ocean in Sanskrit, ocean means not only ocean, infinite ocean also means the antariksha, the space. So what are they saying here? No five elements, no panchatanmatras, no causal organs, no gunas, nothing is here. So how can we make creation? So all these Trimurtis, they are requesting Devi that we don't find anything here in this space. How do we make creation? So for that, the Devi is smiling here. So what does she do? She smiles, and then she creates a beautiful car. You can say that this car is a spaceship. So then what is Devi saying? "Oh Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, get into the car without fear." So Devi is saying that, "Oh Brahma and Vishnu, Rudra, get into the car. I will take you somewhere." So what is she doing here? So then she is taking Brahma, Vishnu and Rudra to another universe. She is taking all these three people to another universe. And then in that another universe, these three people can see another Brahma there. They are seeing another Brahma. And that Brahma has Vedas and everything there. There are rivers, there are oceans, there are serpents, everything is there. So these three Trimurtis, they are bewildered because they thought that they are the only ones in this entire universe. But here Devi is showing that Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara of this universe are not the only ones. There are billions of other universes also. So what these three people have seen there is, see, the sloka itself is saying this, saying all these, Vishnu Maheshwara asked me, that is Brahma, "Oh Brahma, the four-faced one, who is this Brahma? Who is this Brahma?" So what I replied, that is Brahma is replying here, "I don't know who is this Brahma. I don't know who is this Brahma. I thought that I am the only Brahma here, but there are other Brahmas." Then the Devi takes all these three people to another, we can call them as Kailasa. There is 10-headed, five-faced, five-headed, 10-handed Shiva, who is also wearing tiger skin, and his upper garment is made from elephant skin. Of course, there are multiple meanings for these words. He is riding a bull. So these Trimurtis are seeing another Shiva in another universe. Then they go to Vaikunta because there is another Vaikunta. That means our scriptures are talking about parallel universe also being present. So all this Vishnu, Brahma and Rudra, they see another universe. Then they come back here and they make a creation. So this is what our Sanaatana Dharma speaks about. And then, who is this Devi? Who is this Devi? So Devi Bhagavata, I am quoting most of the slokas from Devi Bhagavata. I will also quote other slokas. So Devi is inconceivable. She is eternal. She is the will force of the Supreme Self. So who is Devi? Devi is the will force of the Supreme. She is the first creator of the being, of the world. So who is this? Who is this Supreme here? This Supreme is nothing but Lord Krishna. And then these slokas are saying, that is Devi Bhagavata, book 3, chapter 30, sloka 29 to 33. Here, she is the source of Brahma, Vishnu and other beings. So she is the Supreme of each universe. And see here, her origin is not Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, Sun or Indras. She is devoid of quality. She is the essence. She is the one through which everybody comes. Everybody comes. And here, this sloka is very, very interesting. This is Devi Bhagavata, Book 5, Chapter 27, Sloka 33. Here, what is this saying? When the time is over, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, that is Lord Shiva. Here, the sloka is saying die. It is not dying. It is they become avyakta. They will become avyakta and they will merge into her. She, and how powerful is she? The Ammavaru is so powerful that she is not influenced by time and fate. She creates fate. She runs the universe. So what is being told about Devi? She puts always every being to action. Because of her we work. She decides the fate of everybody. And here, this sloka is very, very interesting. Purusha is not the doer. He is simply the witness. So he sits silently. He is the witness, the supreme being, that is Krishna, whereas she runs the entire universe. And she is in manifested and unmanifested forms also. And here, this sloka in Devi Bhagavata, Book 7, Chapter 27, Sloka 31-32. Here, it confirms multiverse theory. Now rescue us from great difficulty, O Mother of the worlds, O Maheshwari. Be pleased, the ruler of the endless crores of Brahmandas. So our Sanaatana Dharma speaks about multiverse. Next sloka is also very important. Thou art the mother of endless crores of universes. So this is what our Sanaatana Dharma talks about. Endless universes, billions of universes. So here, it's a very, very important sloka in Devi Bhagavata. I am showing here. Book 7, Chapter 29, Sloka 7. Here, there is a very interesting comparison. Very, very interesting comparison. Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, and Ishvara are the 4 feet. So here, the sloka is comparing the hierarchy system like a chair. Like a chair. So, chair does have 4 feet. So, Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, and Maheshwara, they are the 4 feet. And the plank which is on the 4 feet, that is the Sadasiva. And on these 5 sits Devi, the supreme being Mula Prakriti, sits on the plank. That is, Devi is the supreme being, Sadasiva is next, Maheshwara, then comes Vishnu, then comes Brahma, then comes Rudra. So this is the hierarchy system. This is the hierarchy system. So who is the supreme being? So this is the sloka which says, Devi Bhagavata, Book 9, Chapter 1, Sloka 12. This says that out of the will of Sri Krishna to create the world, Mula Prakriti comes out. So from Krishna, Mula Prakriti comes out. From Mula Prakriti, everything comes out. From Mula Prakriti, everything comes out. And then, from how does all these multiverses come? There is an important sloka in Devi Bhagavata which says that Krishna and Mula Prakriti, they do Rasa Leela. From that, a big egg comes out. From that big egg comes out Mahavishnu. From Mahavishnu, from the skin pores of Mahavishnu, endless crores of universes comes out. We can see this sloka in Bhagavata Purana also. So Devi Bhagavatam is in confirming what Bhagavata Purana is saying. There is no contradiction. So I am giving that essence here. Devi Bhagavata, Book 9, Chapter 2. Here what is it saying? From the right side of Krishna comes Mula Prakriti here. And from both of them, universe as a golden egg comes out. Then from Krishna's right side, Vasudeva, who is the 2-armed Vasudeva, which we see in Bhagavata Purana, comes out. Then from his left side comes Narayana, who is nothing but Vishnu, which we see. Then from Mula Prakriti, Kamala will come out from the left side and Radha will come out from right side. For all these slokas are there in our Puranas. So these are the slokas which I am showing here. And I talked about that golden egg being produced in Devi Bhagavata. No? So he is the child. He is the child from which crores of Brahmandas will come out. So he is the source of multiverse. But where this child has come from? This child has come from Krishna and Mula Prakriti. I may be confusing, but I will put again. From Krishna and Mula Prakriti, this child will come out, who comes out from a golden egg. From this golden egg, this child comes out. This child is nothing but Karanodaka Sai, who is being described in Bhagavata Purana. So from him, crores of universes come out. Then again they will go back to him. So this is the theory which scientists are saying that this is multiverse theory. So of course there are so many things, but I think I have already completed 1 hour. So I will talk about other things. If there are any doubts, I will definitely wish to clarify them. And of course the Puranas speak about Vaikunta, Kailasa, Goloka, Vrindavana, all these different lokas. And it also speaks about how much distance is there between each loka. Of course, there are a lot of things, but because I have to cover a lot of things, I will go a little bit fast. Now, Devi Bhagavata, Book 9, Chapter 3 and Sloka 15 says this. When this Brahmanda, cosmos dissolved, everything dissolves and everything is destroyed. So it is temporary like bubbles of water. This is what today's science is saying. It is saying that billions of universes are like bubbles in water. This is what our Purana is saying. And then this sloka is very, very interesting. Book 9, Sloka 5, Chapter 3, Sloka 17. What to speak about others? Even Krishna cannot count the number of these Brahmandas. In every Brahmanda, there is Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, O child of Narada. So, in every universe, we have Devi, we have Sadasiva, who is Shiva, the supreme Nirakara Shiva. Then we have Maheshwara. Maheshwara is nothing but Shiva with a Akara. Then from Maheshwara comes Vishnu. From Vishnu comes Brahma. From Brahma comes Rudra. Because in the previous Kalpa, Brahma has a desire. He asks Shiva, "O Shiva, will you be born as a son to me?" That is the desire which Brahma expresses. And Shiva says, "Tadastu." So from Brahma, Rudra comes out. Rudra is nothing but Shiva. But because Brahma has asked for a boon, Shiva has come as a son to Brahma, who is the Rudra. Of course, there are about 8 types of Rudras we know of. So here is a sloka which says that Krishna is different from Narayana. See, basically Narayana and Krishna are one and the same, but the tattva of Krishna is a little bit different. So here Devi Bhagavata in Book 9, Chapter 3 says that in every universe, whatever offering will be given to Krishna, 1/16 of it will goes to Narayana. So 1/16 of that offering will go to Lord of Vaikunta, that is Narayana, and 15th, 16th of this will go to this boy, who is the Virat, who is Karanodaka Sai Vishnu. And what does the sloka say? Krishna does not take any share because he is transcendental. He is satisfied with himself. He doesn't take any share of whatever offerings we give. And of course, I will come here to Devi Bhagavata. Here it speaks about casual ocean. In that there is Karanodakasai Vishnu. Then there is somebody called Garbhodakasai Vishnu. Garbhodakasai Vishnu is the Vishnu who is there in each Brahmanda. And then there is what is called as Garbhodaka Kshirodakasai Vishnu. Kshirodakasai Vishnu is the Vishnu. He is present in each individual. He is present in us also. And then, of course, Bhagavata Purana also speaks about Chaturvyuha. And as you know, that Chaturvyuha is also told in Vishnu Sahasranama, Vasudeva Sankarshana Pradyumna Aniruddha. So, when you look at the hierarchy system in Puranas, it mimics multiverse. It talks about parallel universe. It speaks about hierarchy system in Puranas. This is the exact copycat of multiverse which scientists speak about today. So this is the third part. So I will hurry a little bit. I will speak specially about Tamasa Puranas because lot of people have misunderstandings about Puranas. So we have to know about Tamasa Purana. Because if you don't properly understand Tamasa Puranas, we may think that Puranas have very, very bad things in Puranas, and it is sometimes you will feel, what is this? This is not good. Puranas are speaking so many vulgar things like that. So that's why I am making a special mention about Tamasa Puranas. So where are Tamasa Puranas are mentioned? So Garuda Purana, Brahmanda Kanda, chapter 1, sloka 15, it speaks about Puranas. So what is here? It is saying Bhagavata is the highest Purana. Then in 51 sloka, it is saying that Matsya Purana, Kurma Purana, Vayu Purana. All these are Satvika Puranas. So there are some Puranas which are Satvika. Then other sloka, the next sloka is saying that Skanda, Padma, Vamana, Varaha, Agni and Bhavishya are Rajasa Puranas. And then there are what is called as Tamasa Purana. Brahma, Brahmanda, Brahma Vaivarta, Linga, Markandeya, Aditya are Tamasa Puranas. But again, the Puranas which are mentioned in Tamasa and Rajasika, sometimes they will vary with Puranas. Because all these 18 Puranas are not speaking about only about this Svetavaraha Kalpa. Some Puranas are speaking about the previous Kalpas also. That is called as Kalpa Veda, which I will talk about. So we should talk about Padma Purana, especially I am here talking about Padma Purana here. In Padma Purana, it is specially spoken of by Lord Shiva. So what is it? Here, Lord Shiva is speaking to Girija, who is Mata Parvati. He is saying that there are various doctrines. Garuda is said to be 60. He, of course, is enumerating here. Then he is speaking about this. Matsya, Kurma, Linga, Shaiva, Skanda are Tamasa Puranas. So when you read Shiva Purana, you have to be extra careful not to misunderstand it. Because there are Tamasa Purana. So why you need to be extra careful? So here in 18 and 22nd, I am showing here. I'll read about it. Know from me that Brahmanda, Brahma Vaivarta, Markandeya, Bhavishya, Vamana, Brahma Puranas as Rajasik. Satvik are said to be the one which gives salvation. Here you read this specifically. Similarly, O goddess, Tamasa are said to be the cause of hell. So when you are reading Tamasa Purana and you are not careful, don't read them properly and misunderstand them, it will take you to hell. It will take you to hell. So here I am showing little evidences here of why they will take you to hell. See, a lot of people, especially the communists, all these people, they make a lot of fun about Puranas. they speak about Shivalinga being a bad thing. Shivalinga, they equate Shivalinga to something which is very, very bad. You must be knowing about all this. So what is Shivalinga? Shivalinga is nothing but the entire universe. The Nirakara Parabrahma, the Sadasiva is nothing but the Linga form. Now what is Linga? Linga doesn't mean a organ. Linga means a chinha. Linga is the chinha. So what is Linga? It's a chinha of the Nirakara Parabrahma, that is the Sadasiva. Now, what is the stand? What is Yoni? It is the pedestal, who is Ammavaru, who is Mula Prakruti. So, when we speak about Tamasa Purana, you need to be extra careful not to misunderstand the events which are being described here. We have to be very, very careful. Now, I will go to fifth point. I will take some of the questions about Tamasa Puranas later on. So, why are there really any contradictions in Puranas? Because I also found a lot of contradictions. But when I went into the depth of Puranas, surprisingly, I found that there are zero contradictions. There are no contradictions in Puranas. Why there is no contradiction in Puranas? In Shiva Purana, Shiva says, I am the Supreme. In Bhagavata, Krishna says, I am the Supreme. Then in Vishnu Purana, Vishnu says, I am the Supreme. Of course, I told about hierarchy system. According to hierarchy, there is no contradiction. Krishna is Supreme in his own way. Shiva is Supreme according to his own way, because there is a hierarchy system. If you understand the hierarchy system in Sanaatana Dharma, about multiverse, about each universe, everybody, Krishna is right, Shiva is right, Vishnu is right, Brahma is right in their own way. There is no contradiction. So when do we find contradiction? When we don't have a guru who will explain you how there is no contradiction, or when you don't have knowledge to understand what different Puranas are saying. So when you read all the Puranas, or at least the essential Puranas, you will not find any contradiction. The next reason to find a contradiction is when you don't understand the language which is given in Puranas, which is Sanskrit, and the meaning of each word. So when I say linga, you don't assume that linga has a bad meaning. Linga in Sanskrit means chinha. Chinha. So you should know how to read Puranas and understand them correctly. So here I will give some examples. See, when Brahma creates, he has a 6 mind-born sons. They are called Manasa Putras. So when they are born, they are called mind-born. And then Brahma also creates another daughter who is called by different names in each Puranas. So somewhere she is called as Saraswati, somewhere she is called as Sharada, like that. So these 6 sons, they talk bad about Brahma. They say, Brahma, you are our father. So here what happens is, when Brahma creates a daughter, there is somebody called as Kamadeva, whose sole purpose is to create Kama in different people. So he influences Brahma also. He influences Brahma because Brahma basically has Rajasa Guna. So all these 6 sons, they talk bad about Brahma. So Brahma, what he does is he curses all these 6 sons, that you will be born on earth and you will be killed. So here what happens is, first time all these 6 Manasa Putras are born as sons of Kalanemi. As all these 6 sons, first they are born as Kalanemi, then they are born as sons of Hiranyakashipa, then they are born to Devaki. So there is a link that Brahma curses his son, they are born 3 times. Again, there is somebody called as Maricha. Who is Maricha? Maricha is the assistant of Jaya and Vijaya who are in Vaikunta. This Maricha takes the akara of golden deer in Ramayana. He is being killed by Lord Rama. He attains moksha. But Ramayana talks about Maricha that he has taken the form of golden deer, but doesn't talk that Rama has given moksha to this Maricha. But this event is being described in Devi Bhagavata. It is not described in Ramayana. So you can link Ramayana to Devi Bhagavata here. See how each itihasa is being linked to Purana. There is no contradiction here. Then another example I will talk about is about the abduction of Sita by Ravana. Ramayana never speaks about Chaya Sita. Ramayana never speaks about Chaya Sita. But Devi Bhagavata speaks about Chaya Sita. That whoever Ravana has abducted is not the original Sita, but Chaya Sita, the shadow of Sita. This Chaya Sita is returned back to Rama through Agni Pariksha. So the purpose of Agni Pariksha, one way, is not to test Sita, but to actually get back the original Sita. Now, this event is not being elaborated at all in Ramayana, but it is spoke about extensively in Devi Bhagavata. Like this, you can link Bhagavata, link Ramayana, link Mahabharata to all the Puranas. Now, I will give another evidence of how this Chaya Sita, what happens to Chaya Sita. See, this Chaya Sita goes back to Agni during Agni Pariksha of Sita. This Chaya Sita does tapasya, and this Chaya Sita takes the form of Draupadi. She takes the form of Draupadi, and this Chaya Sita marries the 5 Pandavas as Draupadi. So here we can link Devi Bhagavata, here we can link Ramayana, here we can link Mahabharata. So how wonderful this is. Now I spoke about Brahma cursing his 6 mind-born sons. When we talk about Devi Bhagavata, when we speak about Devi Bhagavata, the 6 sons who are born to Devaki, who are these 6 sons? These 6 sons are the mind-born sons of Brahma. So these are being killed by Kamsa, because that is the curse which Brahma gives there. So that is being fulfilled here. And then there is an important event in Vishnu Purana. If you read Puranas, Purana says that whoever is being killed by Vishnu attains moksha. Whoever is killed by Vishnu gets moksha. Likewise, I have told you about Maricha. Maricha is killed by Rama. That's why he attained moksha. So why is that? First time when Vishnu kills Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipa as a boar, they didn't get moksha. They are born second time as Ravana and Kumbhakarna. Third time, they are born as Sheshupala and Dantavakra. They didn't get moksha. They got moksha the third time. Why? What is the reason? So here, the Purana gives the reason. Everybody, here it is. Vishnu Purana clarifies that Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipa thought that this is not a Vishnu but a boar. Is Varaha is not Vishnu. That is what they thought. That's why they didn't get moksha. Now, why Hiranyakashipa, he is killed by Narsimha, he didn't get moksha. Why he didn't get moksha? Because Hiranyakashipu thought that this is not Vishnu, this is some form of animal with the head of lion and the body of human. So he thought that this is not Vishnu. That's why he didn't get moksha. Then Ravana and Kumbhakarna, they didn't get moksha. Why? Because they thought that Rama is an ordinary human. He is not Vishnu. That's why he didn't get moksha. But the third time, Shishupala and Dantavakra, they were always praising Krishna. Krishna is that, Krishna is this. So they were, one way they are actually abusing, but actually they were praising Krishna all the time. So that's why when they were killed the third time, Shishupala and Dantavakra, they got moksha. And as Jaya Vijaya, they reach Vaikuntha. So you can see interlinking of Bhagavata, interlinking of 18 Puranas, interlinking of Ramayana and Mahabharata. So this is how wonderful the Puranic literature is. Now, I will give one more example about contradiction before I conclude. In Shiva Purana, we see that Vinayaka is being born in a different way, whereas in Brahma Vaivarta Purana, Vinayaka is born in different way. It is totally different. See, each Purana is different, describing that Vinayaka has born in a different way. So here I am giving an example. This is called Kalpa Veda. In each Kalpa, there are minor differences about how each person will behave or how each person is born. So I told you about different Kalpas, no, crores of Kalpas are there. So in Rudra Samhita, Kumara Kanda, chapter 13, Sloka 5-6, here what Brahma is saying? Brahma is saying, he is describing the Sloka, in Sloka, that because of the differences in the Kalpa, because of the differences in Kalpa, there are several stories of the birth of Ganesha. Once because of the Saturn's casting of some Vakra Drushti. See, Saturn, Shani has looked at Vinayaka in a different way. That's why his head was cut off. So this is about previous Kalpa. Now Brahma is saying here, presently the story which is talking about the birth of Ganesha is described about Sveta Varaha Kalpa. So Shiva Purana is describing about the birth of Ganesha, which belongs to Sveta Varaha Kalpa. Whereas the birth which is described in Brahma Vaivarta Purana is different. There, Shiva is not coming his home. See, you all know about the story of how Vinayaka is born. One day, Shiva goes out. So, Devi Parvati, she creates one son through her Malina. Then she keeps this son as guarding her because she is taking bath. Then Shiva comes. There is a fight between this boy and other gods. Then Shiva, he cuts the head of this boy, and then of course they get the head of another elephant, and they make Vinayaka or Ganesha. This is what Shiva Purana describes. But whereas in Brahma Vaivarta Purana, this incident is not at all there. Brahma Vaivarta Purana describes about this boy, he is guarding there. There, Shani casts his vision on this boy and his head gets cut off. Then Vishnu himself will go and gets the head of an elephant there and attaches it. So the birth of Lord Ganesha, which is described in Brahma Vaivarta Purana, is different. And what is described in Shiva Purana is totally different. Is this contradiction? This is not contradiction. Because Shiva Purana is speaking about Shveta Varaha Kalpa. It is clearly mentioned in Shiva Purana. Whereas if you look at Brahma Vaivarta Purana, it says that it is speaking about a previous kalpa. It is not the same kalpa. It is speaking about previous kalpa. And what is this difference called? This is called kalpa bheda. In each kalpa, the events are narrated in a different way. There are differences. And funnily, I came to know about science, which says that in parallel universe also, similar person will be there. For example, in this universe, I myself, as I am known as Bhaskar Raju as a doctor. Probably in other universe, I may be there as a Bhaskar Raju, but I may not be there as an orthopedic surgeon. I may be there as an engineer. I may be there as a different person. So this is what even science claims today. In parallel universe, you may be there, but you may be different. I may be born as an engineer. I may be born as a software professional, but not as a doctor, as an orthopedic surgeon. So Kalpa Veda is there in Puranas, but this is not contradiction. It is only difference in which is being described in different kalpas. So these are the 5 bullet points which I wanted to describe. So of course, if there are any questions, I will take questions. Of course, I am not a very great scholar to tell you, each of you, because you yourself are great personalities. I told what I knew, what I studied, and there is so much to learn for me also. I am still learning. I am still a student. Here I am telling you what I learned, and I want to know from you what you have learned. And if there are any mistakes from my side, I am ready to correct myself. Dhanyavad. Jai Krishna.
Dhanyavadaha. Dhanyavada Mahodaya. It's a great analysis of all the documents put together. And I must say it is a big research you have done. Besides what your professional work is, like orthopedician, you have taken interest on the Sanaatana Dharma and have done a lot of research. It is an education. In fact, new things we learned from you. Anyway, what we do is we will take up the questions one by one. First, I can see now Ram Mohan Garu.
No, P. Vishwanatha is the first one who raised his hand. P.
Okay.
Vishwanatha.
Okay.
I have unmuted him.
Namaskaram, Guru Garu.
Namaskaram.
A great correlation between Vedas and Puranas, which we never knew about all these things. But I just have a basic, simple question. What is the basis on which these Puranas are classified as Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamas?
Okay. See, basically, it is about the narration. It is about the narration in which they are given.
Okay.
See, all Sattvika Puranas doesn't always contain Sattvika events. Even in Sattvika Puranas, there are some things which appear like Tamasic. For example, I will speak about Bhagavata Purana. Bhagavata Purana speaks about Rasa Leela. When I say Rasa Leela, especially these communist, Christian so-called scholars, they say Rasa Leela is very bad, Krishna is very bad. He does so many things which cannot be described. They sometimes equates Rasa Leela with sexual intercourse, and I don't want to speak about all those things. But this is how the pseudo-intellectuals they describe our Puranas. So in Tamasa Puranas, there are a lot of events which are described in that manner. But we have to understand here that each description, when it is translated into commonly known language as Hindi or English or Telugu, we tend to misunderstand those translations. The best example is Rasalila. In Rasalila, what is the age of Krishna? He's 6-7 years. So how 6-7 years child, he can behave in an awkward manner with all those gopikas? Even Rasa, when you read Bhagavata, it says that the mothers or the husbands of those gopikas, they noted that all those gopikas are by their side. By their side. So actually, if the gopikas are there in their home, who went there to do Rasalila with Krishna? It is not the physical bodies. It is they went there with Sukshma Shariras. It is not the physical bodies. So there is an attempt to misinterpret our Sanaatana Dharma, especially the Puranas, especially the tamasic events which are being described. Another commonly misinterpreted issues, there are something in Shiva Purana. Shiva Purana is a tamasic Purana. There is event called Vrunda and Tulasi. There are some events, if you have read Puranas, they say that Vishnu had physical contact with Vrunda and Tulasi, which is again wrong. The Purana is purposefully narrated in that way. That's why it is called Tamasika Purana. The purpose is very clear. Veda Vyasa wanted us to attain what is called as Trivarga Sadhana. Trivarga Sadhana is you attain maturity of such level that you will be able to understand even tamasic narration in a good way. The narration is tamasic there, but still you will understand in a sattvic way. That is the purpose. Probably Veda Vyasa, he is a great rishi. He is still living today, according to Puranas. He is still existing. He thought that in Kali Yuga, some fake scholars will come who will misinterpret Puranas. Probably that's why he has created Tamasika Puranas, so that all these pseudo intellectuals, they will misinterpret it and they will go to hell. That's why he has created Tamasika Puranas.
Veda Vyasa only classified this as tamasic, rajasic?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Next to Rammohan Garu.
Sir, namaste to everyone here. I should first thank Babu Garu and Prabhakar Garu for arranging this course. That is one thing. As far as today's speaker, Dr. Bhaskar Raju is concerned, normally we say hats off to you whenever makes a good presentation, but I would like to say my head off to you, sir. The kind of explanation, excellent explanation, I use a lot of short forms, excellent explanation that you made. And being a very busy doctor, orthopedic surgeon, and if you want to be busy in profession, 24 hours may not be sufficient. But then, right from 2013, you are doing all these things, and the kind of VIP linking. When I say VIP, Vedas, Itihasas, and Puranas, not our VIP. No one is VIP. We are all ordinary human beings, HBOs only. Then, sir, but my point of observation is that you can explain me in next meetings or elsewhere. Ultimately, what you told is subject. What you told is subject, but excellent presentation. But my point is that Tatvikanga, Gunamu, Swabhavamu, Dharmamu, Tattvamu, in the highest level of Tattva, what is that we should know in a single sentence, in few minutes, so that we need not know anything. We say in Telugu, Raminchudu, Anandinchudu, we live in that one. Subject is a circuitous thing. Of course, that may be a route to reach this ultimate tattva. With that share, I once again, my head off to you. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Dharmartha Kama Moksha is what we look for. Simple. Chaturvidha Purusha.
Okay. Okay, let's have next question. Vemuri, Sugnan Garu. I think
Yeah. Namaste, sir. I bow to you for your knowledge and the effort what you have put in making a gist out of the whole thing. Such a vast subject, but not directly related to the subject. But I just want to understand, like how could you schedule your days to acquire this knowledge, because even I am interested in knowing a bit of this particular type thing. So that's why I got into this Sanaatana Dharma thing and class and all that. But how to really schedule the day so that we can at least devote some time and learn things. How you within your busy schedule, and probably you are not 90-year or 100-year-old also, but you are still quite young. But still, you could make some effort and grasp the things and all that. Guide me with regard to that particular thing.
Time management.
Yeah.
I spare 2 hours of my every day in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the library where I am sitting.
Yeah, I see.
So I spare 2 hours of every day reading. For me, probably translating Rigveda was the greatest achievement of my life. And Corona was actually bad for most of us, but it turned as a blessing in disguise for me. I could translate entire Rigveda, 10,552 mantras in a matter of 23 months during lockdown. Because I don't practice general medicine. I practice only orthopedics. So literally I had to close my hospital and sit with Veda to translate it. So regarding time management, it is very simple. My profession as orthopedics is an attitude with which I work. But for me, 3 things matter. My first thing is my family. The next thing is profession. For me, the third thing is Sanaatana Dharma. In the third place, nothing comes. Previously, I used to watch movies. I used to spend time on songs. I used to spend time with friends, probably with some parties. But when I entered this place, apart from my profession and my family, the third biggest thing for me is Sanaatana Dharma, reading, understanding, interrelating, discussing with other like-minded people that I have not understood this thing. So how I should understand this. So it's all attitude. See, everybody has free time, but how we are utilizing that free time makes the difference. Every day I used to read newspaper. Since last 8 years, I have not seen it. I only see it from a distance. I don't read it. So for me, my family, my profession, and the third most important thing in my life is Sanaatana Dharma, trying to understand it and trying to not only understand it, trying to follow it and trying to propagate it. I propagate it. And because there is no point in knowing everything and keeping it to myself. I have to give it back to people. Because when people understand it, you will also read it, then you will also propagate it. So 3 things has to be there: understand it, follow it, propagate it. You have to do 3 things. You should not sit and read, keep it for yourself. You have to transmit your knowledge. It's very simple.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Next question from
Namaskar.
Yeah.
Namaskar, Dr. Bhaskar Raju Garu and Colonel Babu Garu and all others and organization participants. Very interesting talk. Thank you very much. Such a excellent presentation on this. I have 2-3 questions. During your lecture, I noted down these things. How much is the time duration of each kalpa? Is there any mention?
Yes. 432 crore years each kalpa. That is a day of Brahma. The night of Brahma is 432 crore years.
432 crore years. Actually, Swami Ramdev, many times he asked us, he tells like this, 1 arab 96 crore, 8 lakh 53 hajar. Then this about 2022 last May, this it will come to 22 something. So he also it's comparable actually. So he told the 400 crores. He tells about 196 crores. It is running now.
Yes.
It is the current present state. Not like what the scientists tell that the Veda and Purana are only 5,000 years old, or Raman Mahabharata. It is not like that. I think Treta Yuga, these are not only 5,000, 10,000. This must be very long, high duration. So number 2 was, see, in the verse, both Lord Rama and Lord Krishna, especially Lord Rama, he bows and arrows, he quotes, and lot many Rakshasas are killed and so on. So does it mean that everyone is getting moksha? Right? Because they are not of that quality that they will get moksha immediately. But we explain also that they all are thinking that Lord Rama is just a human being, so they might not have got moksha. I said about whatever comes, I have since childhood I had the idea, but from whom I got the stories, that Hiranyakasipu, they are also Joy Vijay, first incarnation. Second was Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and third was Kansa and Shishupal. But Kansa, you told it is Dantavakra. Dantavakra is whom? I mean, not Kansa is not among the Joy Vijay.
No.
Joy Vijay. But Kansa also must have got moksha after getting killed by.
Yes.
Dantavaksha, I do not find that much story about him. Who is he and how? What is the story about
It is not mentioned in very detail. Only Shishupala has been mentioned very much in detail in Devi Bhagavata.
And part of Mahabharata also. Part of Mahabharata. But Dantavaksha, where is the story actually? I mean, where you get the story of Dantavaksha?
See, this is a standard thing that is being told in Puranas, so I am only quoting that. And even I am studying all those things, because see, unless you read 18 Puranas, it is very difficult to answer each and everything. What I have done is I have read about 5 Puranas of each, Shaiva, Vishnu, all that. Even I have not read 18 Puranas. It is practically impossible for one to read 18 Puranas, because for me to read Shiva Purana, it took 15 months. Only one reading. Only one reading took me 15 months. So Shiva Purana is how much? 24 lakhs. 24,000 shlokas. But again in Shiva Purana, Vyasa says that the original Shiva Purana which is being told is actually 1 lakh shlokas. But because people in Kali Yuga are not very intelligent, Vyasa has condensed it to 24,000. Now imagine how vast is Puranas. In my lifetime, probably I can never read 18 Puranas. Probably when I turn 90 and I'm still alive, probably I can read 18 Puranas. Now regarding the time which you said, in this Kalpa, we have already crossed 197 crore years. Sankalpa mantra has actually 3 parts. 3 parts is, one is time, one is place, one is who the person who is telling all this. Svetavara kalpe, Brahma, all this. Svetavara kalpe, Vaivasvatanantre, all these things are the time part. So it is the 28th Mahayoga in the Kali Yuga in the Pradama Pada. That is what the Sankalpa mantra says. Then the place. Bharatavarshe, Bharatakande, Meru, that is the place.
Yeah.
So when you are saying Sankalpa mantra, you are telling about the time when you are doing puja. You are also telling what the place you are in.
Yeah.
Third thing is, who are you? I belong to Pandava Gotra. I am Dr. Bhaskar Raju. So when you are praying to God or doing any puja, you are identifying yourself in which time you are in, which place you are in, who are you. The slow Sankalpa mantra itself says 197 crore years, if you calculate all this. And regarding the age of this universe, according to our scriptures, it is 155 lakh crores.
155 lakh crores.
But science says it is only 1380 crore years. So our time is more than what science says. That is when I got interest. In fact, I was an atheist before 2013. When I read all this, I became an atheist.
Atheist. And a personal question, in your library, how much percentage is of this our scriptures books, and how many are the medical books?
This has only scripture, only holy books. My books are separate.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's great.
Okay, next Satyavati garu.
Hello.
Pallavi, okay.
Yeah, namaste. Actually, sir, I wanted to ask, till now, like I had always heard that Lord Krishna is the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. But when I joined some classes of ISKCON, they were the first people to tell that Krishna is the most supreme. But like as per the mindset from childhood, then I used to think कि वो organization they are proposing their own, but even today in the class you told the same thing, that Krishna is the most supreme. Also, my doubt is like always Adi Shakti we have always associated with Lord Shiva. Today for the first time I came to know that there is some Shakti which is who is associated with Lord Krishna, like the supreme most Shakti. So can you please give more detail, like whenever we talk about Shakti, whenever we always talk about Mata Parvati only, that Shakti is like Sanchalak and all this. And another question that I want to ask, sir, is that what are the basic sources of study? Like obviously I cannot study so much, but if I want to know about the stories of these Puranas and all, and I want to narrate it to my kid also, so from where I can read that I can spare some time to read, which I can narrate to my kid. He's a small boy, he likes love stories, which are not like when I take the books, most of the books in the market, they are actually mythological stories. They just change the actual story to some other story, cooked stories. But if I want to read the actual stories without the cooked ones, and and in a precise way that I can understand and also narrate, so some source of that kind.
See, first question was about Vishnu and Krishna. See, when we read 18 Puranas, our understanding is very clear that Krishna is supreme. But whatever Narayana promised, because Narayana also comes from Krishna, according to Devi Bhagavata, whatever Narayana promises, Krishna will fulfill it. So, I will give you an example. According to Devi Bhagavata, the 16,100 wives which are there in Devi Bhagavata of Krishna, actually they do tapasya for Narayana. They want Narayana as his husband, but Krishna comes and fulfills it. So the tattva of Narayana and Krishna is same. But among these two, who is supreme in the hierarchy system? See, hierarchy system is very simple. First, we have a prime minister. Then we have states. In each state, there is a chief minister. It is something like that. So when we take a multiverse or the supreme location, supreme loka in Sanaatana Dharma, it is the Goloka. In Goloka, Krishna and Mula Prakriti are there. Radha is there, and other Gopikas are there. Then there is something called multiverse. This multiverse is separate again. In each multiverse, there is Mula Prakriti again. So that means to say, there is not one Shakti. Shaktis are, billions of Shaktis are there. In each universe, there is Ammavaru, there is Shakti. From under her, there is one Sadasiva. So in each universe, it is there. The same hierarchy system works. So it is like this. But whatever Narayana promises, Krishna also does. He takes from it. Then again I said Shiva Tattvas are three types: Sadasiva, Maheshwara and Rudra. Now, Sadasiva is the highest quality of Shiva Tattva, which is nothing but Nirakara Parabrahma. And the Chinha of Nirakara Parabrahma is nothing but Linga. Linga is not actually like this. Linga is round like this. So, under that Linga, you have a pedestal. This represents the Mula Shakti. Both these together is Shivalinga. So, when you are worshipping Shivalinga, then again this Linga part has three parts. Below you have Brahma, in the middle you have Vishnu, upper part you have Rudra. So when you are worshipping Shivalinga, it means you are worshipping Amavaru, you are worshipping Brahma, you are worshipping Vishnu, you are worshipping everything. Everybody. But unfortunately today, there are a lot of higher categories. Shaivas, Vaishnavas, Shaktiyas. People have created all this. Scriptures never create all this. Everything is one. Ekam Satvipra Bahuda Vadanti. Everything is one.
Please show that again the photo. I just want Adi Shakti, and then.
She is the pedestal. Now, what is pedestal? She is the Adhara. They say Yoni. Yoni means Mula. Mula means the important part. That is pedestal. That means Ammavaru supports all these three persons.
Okay.
Mula Shakti supports everybody. That is what I said. No. On chair, there is a pedestal, there is a plank on which she sits. She is the in charge of every universe. So Shivalinga is a symbol. Shivalinga is not we think about. So when we worship Shivalinga, it means we are worshipping everybody. Regarding the books to tell, the best thing to start with is Bhagavad-Gita. Then you can go
Bhagavad-Gita I have done.
Best. Then you can go for Bhagavata. Then probably the best other book to tell is Ramayana. Then you can go to Mahabharata. But Mahabharata is very difficult. But whenever you read, I request everybody not to read Vachakas when there are no slokas. You should read with slokas and understand them. And that is the best way to enjoy, and that is the best way to understand.